So you've got your 1.5 upgrade pack, and you've got all the cards ready to go, but you don't know how you're going to implement the change into your current game. So what I'm going to give you is my solution to that. There are dozens of different ways I'm sure you could do it. I'm just going to show you what I used. It was a fairly quick process. It took around about 35 minutes. Okay, so this method presupposes that you already have some kind of organization in place. So for example, my cards, I know I've got them organized by nationality or by type. And what I mean by type is it might be a ranged unit, a mounted unit, a foot soldier, a peasant unit. I've got them all arranged in different ways, and what I'm doing here is I'm separating out all the different types of cards and getting them ready for me to bring them into my existing method of organisation. Okay, so now I've got all of these cards sorted, I'm starting to collect them back again into one single deck, but the order of that deck will be important. The order of that deck will allow me to introduce all of this stuff into my existing collection in a pretty simple way. Okay, so now I've got my deluxe storage kit, the card box from there. You don't have to use this. This will work with whatever storage solution you've got, whether you've got it in a binder or or you've got it collected in some other way. But what I've done is I've grabbed the section which has got all of my similar type of cards. So it might be that I've got all of my ranged units in one go, and each ranged unit is in alphabetical order. And what you can see is that when I get to a card that matches something that I want to introduce from the upgrade, I just swap it out. Now, it's quite easy for me to discern between my existing and upgrade cards because all my existing ones are currently sleeved. Now, I don't re-sleeve as I go because I want to make it very clear in my mind that anything I swap out, if I make a mistake or I get something wrong, I don't want to get confused between the new cards and my existing collection. Now, in terms of the cards that I'm removing from my existing collection, I'm not throwing those away. Most of those I'm going to be able to use, and I'll get onto that at the end of the video. But certainly, I don't like wasting things, and I've got genuine good use for these as well. So in a nutshell, I'll lay out a very small deck of cards. These will be for a specific unit type or nationality. I will then go through my existing deck and swap them out as I find the corresponding one in my existing deck. You can see all the ones I'm discarding are in the top right. All the ones in the middle are the upgrade cards, and everything I'm shuffling, that is my existing deck, which I'm flipping through and replacing when I get to the correct cards, which I'm looking to upgrade. Now I'm starting that process again with the hero cards. Now I'm going through the same process, except with these, all you need to do is go by nationality. So we're just sorting by nationality or by holy and unholy. Now, it's very important to understand that all of these cards and all of the cards that we've already been through in this video, they are straight swaps. You are swapping out an upgraded card for one which is being made redundant. That is not the case for all of the cards. You'll see that when we get towards the end of the video. Some of the other cards in this game which are being replaced, there are some genuine ones which are being introduced. Now, this process is very simple. However, there are a few things that you will come across and you'll realise as you're going through it. So, for example, if you own all of the expansions, you will realise that you have got duplicates of certain cards. So, certain foot soldiers and mounted units and some of the bowmen and that kind of thing, you're going to have 2 or 3 cards for those, because you'll have got one from the core box, you'll have got one from the Legendary Battles box, and you might have picked up another one from another expansion. You'll see that when you're going through these cards, most of the duplicates you got won't be duplicated in the upgrade pack. You'll get one card and you'll just be exchanging it for 2 or 3 that you've already got. Now, that's not a massive problem unless you get to things like when you're playing battle mode, you might be playing 4 players and you might all want the same unit, but you can't divvy that card out 4 times. But that's what it is. But we'll get onto that at the end of the video and what I'm going to do about that. In terms of working out these tarot cards, again, it's a simple process. What I would say, though, is that for the English and French cards, there are a massive amount of cards. So you might want to do this process in 2 separate batches. So as you pull out all of your English cards and you do half of the upgrades in one go and then do the other half afterwards. Now this is where things start to get a little bit trickier. So these are all the scenario cards, and again I've got 1 deck of these that is in this storage box. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to sort all these different cards by scenario, and then we're going to go through our existing decks and we're going to start replacing cards. Now it's not always obvious which cards you need to replace, but you will be able to see from the cards you've got, you can see all the different marker points that are on there. You'll be able to tell the ones that have got similar ones on the scenario that you're looking for, that you'll know which ones to replace. So again, that you need to do a little bit of interpretation here, and you need to actively look through the details on the cards to work out which card you're meant to be replacing, because it isn't always straightforward. But once you work out your method for it, and once you see which card goes with which and which ones are similar for other points and that kind of stuff, you'll be able to work it out a lot much easier. So all you'll be doing is, with your existing deck of cards, you'll be sorting all the cards from one scenario out, and then you'll be going through them all to work out which one you need to replace from the upgrades. And obviously we're separating out all of the upgrade cards first so we don't get confused. If you find a card which bears no resemblance whatsoever to your existing scenario, you just introduce it to that scenario. Okay, so finally, before we move on to what I'm doing with all of those old cards, we're going to go through these mini cards. And we're going to go through a very similar process to what we've done previously. So we have separated them all out by type, and then we're going to replace them with the upgraded version for the most part. Now you will notice that once you've sorted all those cards and you've swapped out all the different ones that you don't need anymore, you'll find that there will be some cards left over. Those are just being introduced into the game to add a little bit of diversity. So before we find out how I'm going to utilise all the discarded cards, that is the main part of this video done. So this is all the cards introduced, and that is one half of the upgrade pack that we received. The other half is the rulebook. So my next video is going to focus on that and the changes between the old rulebook and the new rulebook, and those changes are massive. Okay, so we've got a lot of cards left over which would normally go in the bin. I don't want to do that. So what I'm doing is I'm going through, I'm looking for all the cards that I would like to have a separate copy of at least once. So all of the extra bowmen, some of the other individual mounted units, all that kind of stuff, everything that I think I could do with an extra copy of, I'm just keeping to one side. Now, a few months ago, Mythic Games released a PDF of all of the upgraded cards. So basically, before it went to print, they put a PDF out, and you can still go back and download that PDF. There's a link in the description to the Kickstarter update, which included that PDF, so you can go there and get that. So all I'm doing is I'm going to cut these out, and then I'm going to slip them in with the card inside the sleeve, so as it looks, for all intents and purposes, just like a regular upgraded card. So as an example, I might want to have 6 versions of something like a bowman, because if I play a Legendary Battles game with up to 6 people, I know that I might want to have an individual card for each person that's playing. Now, for the tarot size cards, there are a few that I would also want to double up on. Now, obviously you can't play more than one Joan of Arc. Well, obviously you could if you wanted to, but you don't have to. And because I've got a double pledge and I've got extras of everything, there's certain cards and certain miniatures which I would like to have a double upgraded version of. And that's things like mounted heroes, spies and assassins and that kind of thing. Basically any card I've got that doesn't mention someone by name. So if it's going to be a kind of a standard hero of some sort who is nameless, effectively we might want to play more than one of those in a game, and we can either proxy the mini for it, or if we've got a double pledge like me, we can use the second mini and just use a different colour basis to discern which one is which. Now I have to say, the last couple of days it's been an absolute pleasure getting back into Joan of Arc. I absolutely love the game, and it's brilliant to get new stuff. I love the Teutonic Knights box. There's a unboxing for that there. I'll be doing more content on that in the next few weeks. What you can see whizzing past you here, this is my deluxe storage box tutorial of how I'm storing everything. There's a little bit of interpretation there, but I'm giving my take on it. So if you want to see that, you can go and have a look at that as well. In the next couple of weeks, I want to do some battle report stuff, potentially, but the next thing I want to do is get into that rule book and go through the main changes between the standard Joan of Arc and 1.5. I've always said that the original game had a bad reputation because so many people were saying that it was broken. It wasn't. It needed some perseverance, but from what I've seen of the new rule book, it is a big update. So I cannot wait to get into that, and I'll be sharing my thoughts with you in the next couple of days. So if you want to see more Joan of Arc stuff, drop a subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.